We're good? Started? Okay. I'd like to welcome everyone to the October 22nd, 2020 meeting of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners. Would you please rise and join me in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. I'm Jeff Benton, President of the Board. To my right is our Vice President, Gary Merrill, and our County Administrator, Mike Cromer. To my left is fellow Commissioner Barb Lewis, and today's meeting will be led by Sarah DeNova. We can begin.
Resolution number 926, in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings for regular meeting held October 19th, 2020.
So move.
Second. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 20-926. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
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 Resolution number 20-927, in the matter of approving purchase orders, then and now certificates and payments of warrants and batch numbers CMA PR 1021 and procurement car payments and batch numbers MCA PR 1021.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 20-927. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We now have a presentation.
Morning, Commissioners. Tiffany Mag, Director of Environmental Services. So we're here this morning to roll out the new rebranding campaign that we've been performing for the Code Compliance Department over the past several months. As you know, with the retirement of Fred Fowler last year, we have new leadership of the department, and that includes Dwayne Matlack, who's here with me today, as well as Jamie Upchurch. And with that new leadership came some fresh ideas for the department, and one of those fresh ideas was to look at, is code compliance a good name for the department, or is it something that has more of a negative connotation, with the public and with the development community? And that was something that Dwayne and Jamie came up with, was let's look at a rebranding campaign and maybe how we could better express what we do in a more customer-focused way. So I'm going to roll it over to Dwayne. He's going to walk you through this rebranding campaign that they've walked through, and also the new mission and vision statement for the department.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Mr. Fromer. If we could hear you a little better.
Thanks for having us here today.
Thank you.
Obviously, we're pretty excited about the name change. We think it better fits what we do. Building departments are everywhere. There's three main reasons for a building department's existence, and that's safety is number one, resiliency, and energy efficiency. But the number one thing is safety. People will go into commercial buildings, they go into their homes, and a lot of times they don't think about what goes into that safety to protect them while they're there. Some of the new technologies in the last decade that we've worked on, smoke detectors, new technology for photoelectric smoke detectors because they react quicker, which gives you more time to get out in their homes. Carbon monoxide detectors are something that's new in the codes, and again, that's a silent killer and something that needed to be addressed. So the codes evolve over time, and we continue to evolve with it. We had thought long and hard, and we put together a committee to come up with a new name and vision for the department. Our name for the past, basically, 30 years is the Delaware County Code Compliance Department. We thought code and compliance, they're kind of negative, as Tiffany said in their meeting, and in today's social light, we thought that a new name that would brand us with something people recognize is safety. So our new name will be the Delaware County Department of Building Safety. We will still do the same things that we did. however, with a new name. While we were doing all of this, we looked at our vision and mission statements and decided that they were outdated and that we should update them to be more in line with what we do. Our vision statement now will be building safety excels at helping people navigate the building process through highly professional, knowledgeable, and customer service-oriented staff. In the past, I don't know that service was ever that big in our statement, but we are here to try and help people through the process, whether it be a large builder or an individual homeowner. We want to get them through that process and educate them as we go. The mission of the Delaware Department of Building Safety, as it will be now, is to protect the life, safety, and welfare of the public, to safeguard the public's investment while ensuring resiliency and energy efficiency of the built environment, to provide knowledgeable, fair, and consistent administration of adopted codes, to engage, inform, and educate our customers in person and with the utilization and technology, and to provide effective and responsive service that meets our customers' needs. So we are going to be more sensitive to what our customers' needs are and try to enforce the codes in a way that helps keep projects moving, getting things done quicker. We are now in the process of finalizing and putting together a virtual inspection program. This is something that was done very rarely prior to COVID. It is now here to stay, and we found that it works well. And we were using it before, but not to the extent that we are now. We're doing hundreds of inspections now virtually. Technology is there. It does work. We use it for equipment change-outs where people, because of COVID, we won't go into their homes. And it keeps us separated, but still gets the inspection completed, and we see what we need to see. That's pretty much it on that end. We are going to redo our website to try and put more information on it in order to explain things to our customers. So eventually, you should see more customer service-based information.
Thank you. That's excellent. That's really good. I like the name change.
Yeah,
It really does describe what you do, and in a much more customer-friendly way.
yes, and that's exactly what we were hoping to accomplish.
I just have a couple of observations. First of all, what is the plan to notify the public about the name change? Because there will be confusion because, different name.
There is a press release going to be done. We have changed our URL for a search. We will be putting a public announcement out to our customers and on our website to notify people of that change. We will probably also notify the BIA of the change, and hopefully they can put it out to their customer base to help spread the word.
I would encourage you to contact BIA, of course, but you may also want to send individual letters to the developers that routinely use your services rather than relying on a third party to get the word out.
Or emails or texts.
And that allows you to deliver the message in a way that, rather than someone else delivering the message, we may deliver it differently than you would deliver it. And now I'm just going to make a generic statement. It's easy to put that up there, but when we talk about better service, et cetera, when we say it, we have to do it.
Yes.
And we should do it anyway. But so words are easy, actions are the only thing that matter. And I like the name change, have no problem with that, just how we communicate it and following through on the promise we're making is what my observation.
Absolutely.
Good work, good new mission and vision and name. I think it's great that when there's a change in leadership, you take a moment to pause and say, okay, now might be a good time to rethink our name, our vision, et cetera, and you've done a nice job of that, so I congratulate you on that. You guys are very important in the community's growth, so I know you know that, and like Commissioner Merrill said, hopefully that'll continue to, and even get better, because I know you've done a good job in the past, so thank you.
And we've made a lot of improvements. I know when I came on board, there was a lot of complaints, and for the most part, those have gone away. There's always someone who doesn't understand. There's always some confusion, so I commend the change that have occurred over the last 7, 8 years, but we can always improve and grow, get better.
Always give me better.
Yeah, this type of work is, the standard in the industry is just to follow, to comply, and to meet the deadlines, by the code. And clearly, I think we all know, and the strategy you guys have implemented is to go beyond that. Particularly when you look at the renewed efforts for economic development, the commercial, that's where a lot of the customer service needs come into play. I can tell you that Tiffany and Dwayne and I have worked in the last month or two on that customer service piece where we, manage through those programs, and I think it's been very successful. I think it'll be something. I agree, Commissioner Merrill, 100%. You can put words on a piece of paper, but following through. And I think that Dwayne and his team have already started doing that.
Good.
And it is to, it's ultimately to work with the same urgency. If you're a developer and you've got a $5 million piece of property that's sitting idle, the cost to carry, you can't say, well, hey, 30 days from now we'll get to it. And Dwayne has shown under his leadership to be able to work through those items and not compromise the overall process.
Right.
And I think it's going to be really exciting. Unfortunately, they are the last step in the process. All the plan review delays, all the construction delays, and unfortunately, they're the last. I don't envy their spot in the order, because by the time people get to you guys, the building should have been open a long time ago and had very little to do with anything you guys are doing. So, but I think this falls in line with a lot of the vision you guys have created with the overall process. So.
Good.
Very good.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yep.
Had some issues here of late. We've needed to work with a lot of the production builders, and it's starting to filter down to some of the small builders, is the inability to get construction material. We've worked with several of the large. They're like 12 weeks out on windows.
Oh, my.
So we've
Seriously?
come up with a plan to work. Typically, the code says buildings are to be dried in. So we've come up with some ways to seal those off to allow them to get their frame inspections, their electrical inspections, and move on, and then they're going to put the windows in. So those things crop up.
Lumber, yeah, I knew there was lumber shortage. Yeah.
Lumber, yeah.
I heard 20%, it's gone up considerably, the lumber. I think what happens a lot of times, and understand it from the customer's perspective, they have delays because contractors don't show up or whatever, and you're on the end of it, so you end up getting the frustrations. And
Yes.
sometimes no fault of your own, but it is important to understand that they're trying to do their job, and although we may be on the end of it, we have the ability to affect that in a positive way. So.
Yes, absolutely. And when I started in this business, the one thing that I brought for my own use was to remind myself of what it was like when I was on their side. So utilize that and think about that with every project. So
Good job.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Resolution number 20-928, in the matter of approving sanitary sewer subdividers agreement for the courtyards at Clear Creek, Section 2, Phases A and B.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Morning, Commissioners. Tiffany Mack again, Environmental Services Director. This is a condo development that's on the corner of Home Road and 23 off of Gooding Boulevard. There's 48 lots, and it's a standard agreement.
Vote?
Vote on motion 20-928. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 20-929, in the matter of approving transfers of funds for the regional sewer district.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
These are all the transfers that we budgeted for 2020. It includes transfers into our O&M fund as well as our development capital fund. And then we base our 2021 transfer budget off of these transfers going in this year.
Okay, vote?
Vote on motion 20-929. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Resolution number 20-930, in the matter of approving the supplemental appropriation for the Board of Elections.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
I'm Anthony Sadie, Deputy Director of the Board of Elections.
Carla Heron, Director, Board of Elections.
So yes, we're here before you to ask for some money to finish out the rest of the year for our payroll specifically. This year was something that we could definitely not have planned for or thought of ever happening. The primary alone in our payroll alone, I believe, cost us upwards of $120,000 more than than our payroll line did in 2016. Partly due to it all being mail and lasting an extra, 2.5 months longer than an election typically does. And again, with this huge push for absentees that we've had this year, coming in for the general, we're well past what the general in 2016 cost. In our vote center alone, 2 days ago, we hit the entire total of people that voted in our office for the 2016 general election. We hit that about 2 days ago, which was 17,000. Today we'll hit 20,000 today, I think.
The unfortunate part is we don't realize savings on Election Day. Absentee voting is a very expensive way of voting. I know it's difficult to talk about because then it sounds like you're putting a dollar figure on your vote. But the truth is, that's what we have to do and what you have to do. But it's the most expensive way to vote. It's very labor intensive. There's a lot of redundancy. And not only is absentee more expensive, also when you push a statewide to encourage people to vote, which increases that, then that just drives your cost up even further. And I want to add that in order to do it right, it's even more expensive to do your checks and balances and to have a team check every single envelope. And every single signature.
I just want to thank you so much for all you're doing. I mean, you just had that year from hell.
It's been really nice, though, hearing from the public and the voters, and they all really appreciate it. Even back in the primary, a lot of the voters that we were talking to on the phone, they just couldn't believe that we were working and there the whole time, and they really appreciated it. Mm-hmm. And now, with the vote center open, Carla and myself have just heard tons of compliments and
good.
Yeah, from the voters, and they definitely notice.
Yeah, and interestingly, that's all I've heard is compliments. And unsolicited, people will say how smooth it was. And busy, but smooth, and not long lines at all.
We had a line for maybe the first half hour on the first day, but they've just been pumping them through.
And I've heard that from a number of people, not just one. And I haven't heard a single complaint, which again is a real tribute to all your efforts. How many absentee ballot requests have we had so far? I know we're not quite at the end of that process, but.
Well, collectively, in numbers, we voted about 20,000 in our office, and then as far as mail out, about 48,000's been mailed out. Of that, about 60,000 of the mail's been returned. So that's a concern of ours. We need to get out and really push for that ballot to be returned.
Sooner rather than later.
Exactly.
Helps you
exactly.
smooth out the process.
Yeah, and as a reminder, we're required to count every absentee ballot that's in our office by 7:30. And so the later that comes in and the closer to 7:30 when the polls close, you know, more, it becomes more and more difficult to make that happen and do that well. And pass. But, you know, we want to thank you for your support, your kind words. You've all taken time to come out. Mike has taken, time to come out. We can't, tell you what that means to us, because it's really difficult to come back and ask for additional money. It's something we're not used to doing, but you understand it, and you've been a teammate with us, and it means so much to us that you are aware of what's, going on out at our office. And Jane's been amazing. I would just want to say thank you. I don't know if Jane's in here, but,
She's listening.
helping us with social media, getting, the information out, the correct information. There's a lot of bad information out there. She's teamed with us. We just couldn't have done that as well. So just want to take that opportunity. But we're happy to answer any questions about what is the cost, as far as why does it cost so much and things like that. If you have any detailed questions, we will do our best to answer them for you. And one other thing I want to mention is if we don't need the money, of course, we're turning it back, and we're not. Mike put it really eloquently, it's a crystal ball. So we're doing the best we can to put a dollar figure on what we think we're going to need for the rest of the year. I know our secretary is planning on a recount. They've actually expedited our official canvass. I don't know if you heard that on the news. He shaved off a week from the time election night until the time we have to have everything counted. In anticipation of a recount so that the votes for the Electoral College can be in time. That's never happened either. So we're not sure what that's going to do, but we're going to have to actually have extra help post-election due to that.
Yeah, one question I had was CARES Act funding. If you could kind of give us an overview of that. I know there has been some money available.
Do you have the numbers for what we've been reimbursed and also the 173?
Yeah. We have 173,000 that we've received for different grants, and also chargeback that we have returned to the general fund. Right now, it's totaling about $380,000 collectively. So it comes close to covering what we've come here today to ask for as far as our revenues. And we've also, which is next on the agenda, we've applied for a grant that looks like we'll be approved for that in the range of $60-some thousand with your permission to submit the application and have that approved. So,
As far as more money coming from CARES, we have not heard anything from the state about anything in addition to the 173,000.
Okay. Commissioner
I've said it dozens of times, there's not a better Board of Elections in the state than ours, which means we're number 1 out of 88. I also want to compliment on the planning. A lot of planning went into making this go well, as Commissioner Benton alluded to, and I have heard it numerous times. But the planning, moving the training out to the Career Center to get it out of the building, which allowed the room to do what you're doing up there, all these things makes it possible to have the efficiency that we're enjoying. It is coming at a huge cost. I do believe the state, hopefully after we get this election behind us, will reevaluate some of the things that we're doing that are adding cost unnecessarily. But that's a conversation for another day. But I highly commend the job that the two of you. I took a tour the other day. I don't know, the 40, 50 people that were working up there that day, I didn't count them, but I'm sure there's at least that many. Everybody's doing an excellent job. They seem to be taking it extremely seriously. Everybody wants to get this vote correct, get it accurate. And I feel whether you're Republican or Democrat, we all benefit from that, and so we can move on. And so thank you for everything you're doing.
well, and thank you for offering that building to us, because I don't know what we would have done. And the parking with our poll workers, would have been in that parking lot as well doing training, and we're training, 1,300 people. And so to take that out of the equation, when people were already parking out in the grass, and you know, we called John Melvin and said, should we be doing anything? You know, we can't make the parking lot any bigger. I don't know what we would have done. So
Yeah.
thank you for that building. And we've been able to house our voting equipment there so we can spread people out to vote. So I really don't know what we would have done.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And we'll take a vote.
Vote on motion 20-930. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-931, in the matter of authorizing the submitting of a COVID-19 response grant application for the Delaware County Board of Elections from Center for Tech and Civic Life.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
So yes, this is a grant from the Center for Tech and Civic Life. It's specifically for boards of elections across the United States. We estimate that we'll be getting around $60,000 from them. If you have any specific questions, I'd be happy to.
When would this grant notification be?
From other boards, we've heard that it was pretty quick, like within a couple of weeks, they've received the money after being approved of it. So that's all I have to go off of.
Yeah, we worked with a couple of people, to make sure that because it's a 501c3, kind of things that are out of our expertise. So we leaned on Cy to look over the information to make sure it's something that the county, you know, can take and receive money. We've talked with Mike as far as, you know, helping us with the paperwork, and he's offered to help us in any way. So that's a little background that we believe everything's in line. And I think if they wire money, it's 3 to 5 days. If they write a check, we read where it's about 10 days, we'd have that money.
But, you know, several other boards, I believe, in the state have. I can think of a few off the top of my head that have also applied. But.
All right, vote.
Vote on motion 20-931. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hang in there, guys.
I would like to know what the
We have
pleasure
a
of the board
hearing at
is.
10,
Yeah,
so she's going to ask us what we want to do.
okay. I think we ought to just keep going.
I don't, because everybody here, well, Rob is here
Well, I
for
don't-
that, but I mean, we've just got,
It doesn't have to start right at 10, does it?
No. I think we can go through the rest of it
It's pretty quick.
There really isn't a whole lot
It'll
left.
make it easier on you if we can get through the whole thing, I would think.
okay,
yeah.
if we go quickly.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Resolution number 20-932, in the matter of approving the program year 2020 community development
So moved.
agreement, sorry.
Second.
Sorry, so second?
Hold on,
Whichever,
please.
take your choice.
Just a minute. Agreement BF
Trying to hurry.
2018-1 with Ohio Development Services Agency.
Good morning, Commissioners. Zach Daly.
We got to get a motion. and-
Oh, I am so sorry. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Second.
Okay.
Sorry. Zach Daly, Economic Development. This is just the final approval of the CDBG 2020 grant programs that you approved, the 2 projects that will be happening in Kilbourne.
Yeah, this
Happy to answer any questions.
Okay,
is great stuff. It'll really help.
yeah,
Kilburn.
thank you.
Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 20-932. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Resolution number 20-933, in the matter of approving a reappointment to the Delaware County Board of Building Appeals.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Good morning, Commissioners. Jane Hawes, Director of Communications. We're going to have a lineup here of 3 reappointments. I just want to point out, these are all boards that sort of operate through what is now our Department of Building Safety. And we are very grateful to all these people for being willing to be reappointed, because I think, as you're aware, the Board of Building Appeals, the Board of Zoning Appeals, the Rural Zoning Commission have these very stringent residency requirements. The people appointed to them can only reside in Marlborough, Thompson, and Radnor townships. So it's very difficult to find people who are qualified to serve on these boards and are willing to do this. So we thank them. The first one is Jim Barrett to be reappointed to the Board of Building Appeals, and we recommend your approval.
Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 20-933. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-934, in the matter of reappointing a member to the Delaware County Board of Zoning Appeals.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
This one is Teresa Watkins for the Board of Zoning Appeals, and we recommend your approval.
Vote?
Vote on motion 20-934. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-935, in the matter of reappointing a member to the Delaware County Rural Zoning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
And this one is reappointing Brenda Manley, and we recommend approval.
Okay, vote?
Vote on motion 20-935. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jane.
Resolution number 20-936, in the matter of approving supplemental appropriation for flexible spending accounts.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Good morning, Dawn Houston, Deputy Administrator, and this resolution would just move funds from the revenue side into the services and charges line item to get us through the end of the year with our flexible spending account program. We actually underestimated the number of folks that were planning to enroll. We had more employees enroll in the flexible spending account program, which is a good thing, and we're going to be encouraging more of that for 2021 as well. I think probably most of you have an FSA and understand that it really does help to assist people with purchases of health care and things of that nature. So we appreciate that and would appreciate your approval of this resolution.
And theoretically, the money coming in and money going out matches into the year.
That's correct. These are funds that employees have put into their flexible spending account and is not additional general fund dollars.
Okay, vote?
Vote on motion 20-936. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-937, in the matter of authorizing the use of Delaware County Safety Grant funds to purchase binder lifts and exercise equipment for the Emergency Medical Services Department.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
So the Workers' Comp Safety Committee, Grant Committee, met a couple of weeks ago to review the request from EMS to purchase binder lifts as well as additional exercise equipment for their exercise program. And we're recommending that we put into both of these endeavors $19,000 from the Workers' Comp Reserve Fund to purchase these lifts, which will help cut down on injuries of backs and knees and shoulders and things like that. I've got Jen Cochran here to help with any questions you may have on the lift equipment as well as the exercise equipment. Essentially, with the exercise equipment, they were seeing that they needed these extra dumbbells and kettlebells and medicine balls and things of that nature because they're all working as a group, and when they do that, it's hard to share the equipment. And then the exercise physiologist felt that this additional equipment would really help with this program and the Fit Responder. Anything else you want to add to that? Okay. Any questions? No. Okay.
Yeah, we've been briefed, so I think it makes sense. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 20-937. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 20-938, in the matter of approving a supplemental appropriation for self-insured workers' comp.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
And this would just essentially place the money into the fund so that we can purchase the equipment that we just spoke about.
Okay, vote?
Vote on motion 20-938. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to time for the hearing. So, okay.